Hi, welcome to another episode of TFT Hyperroll, where I show you builds I'm using and strategies I'm using in the hopes that it can help you on this crazy climb to hyper. In this game, it gave us a very early Ashe out of the NPC round, and with a Leona already on the board and some poppies on the bottom, I saw the opportunity to give a second shot at Knight Ranger. I did it once before, came in second place, but I'm absolutely convinced it could work if I do it properly. As we watch this early fight, I apologize to the regular viewers who are probably sick of this, but let me take a moment to tell you what this channel is all about. It's called Mission4Tution, and we created it to help pay for our son's middle and high school tuition. He has to go to a special school, which is insanely expensive. We do not ask for donations. We don't have a link for them. We make all the money off of ad revenue. If you could put a like on this video, it will help YouTube spread it to more people, which leads to more views, which leads to more money for ad revenue, and leads to more money for tuition. So far, this is going pretty much better than I hoped. I have 2 Rangers, I already have 2 2-star Knights, and I have 2 critical Ranger items on Vayne. The one problem is, even though I've been rolling as much as possible, I have not been able to find a 3rd Vayne to turn her to silver, which would give her a lot more attack power. She's still able to do a lot of damage with what she has, but 1 star just isn't going to cut it at this point. A little begging to Riot, and thank you, they give me the 2-star Vayne that I needed to at least take this forward. I can survive with a 1-star Ashe right now because it's a 3-cost champ, but I needed that Vayne to be 2-star to be able to put out enough damage to hold off the teams that are coming. And this early Abomination team is certainly one I would have not been able to win to unless I had 2-starred the Vayne. It's time to pick our Radiant item, and it actually led to a difficult choice. The Fist of Fairness is a fantastic item, but the Runin's Tempest will hit multiple targets. I ultimately decide on the Fist of Fairness, even though it's going to double up what I'm doing with my Bloodthirster, but ultimately Vayne is just an item holder for Aphelios. At least we hope so. I said that last time, and then did not see an Aphelios until it was far too late and had to rely on Vayne to take me through all the fights. And while that may work early on, it doesn't always work. As you can see, Vayne is susceptible even with all of that healing. We're picking up all the Knights and Rangers that we can because our ultimate goal here is to get to 4 Knights and 4 Rangers. Having 4 Knights is going to give us maximum blocking at this point, and 2 or 3 Rangers doesn't really matter unless they're super strong. We want to get a little anti-healing out there, so any chance to pick up the Sunfire Cape and put it on one of our tanky characters, we take it. Chain Vest and Giant's Belt will equal a Sunfire Cape, and that will keep other characters from healing or being healed while our backline is able to take them out. Through rolling, we managed to get to a 2-star Ashe, but notice I am holding my rolls back as much as possible as I want to get into round 7 and roll for Aphelios. I know that's what I'm going to need. Now, luck, always a player that you need on your side, and right there is luck with a 2nd spatula so we can create a force of nature that will allow us to then put out that additional 2-star Varus that we just picked up. We can grab a Zera or any character, use them to make the force of nature, sell them, put it on the side, and boom, we end up with a 3rd Ranger. But after this round, presuming we can get the Aphelios, which we are going to be looking for, we will have a good chance because we will be at the 4 Knights and the 4 Rangers. But you can see even having that 1 additional Ranger has given us a better chance to win. Now I'm going to save you a whole bunch of rolling through the NPC round and tell you, yeah, I did not find Aphelios. So we come out of the NPC round, pick up a tier, and keep rolling more to see what I can find. And finally, there it is. This is the Aphelios you've been looking for. Unfortunately, I have too many items on Vayne, and I have to switch things over. I decide to go with the classic Aphelios build, which is the Death Blade, the Rage Blade, and the Bloodthirster. I put the Fist of Fairness onto Vayne, again, as an item holder, because I want to ultimately get that onto action. I've got a Nico's Help on the side waiting to go so that I can bring Aphelios up to 2-star silver as soon as I get a chance, and I throw a blue buff onto Ashe just so she can cast more often. Aphelios goes down earlier than I would like, but that blue buff really does pay off, as does the Fist of Fairness, allowing Ashe to get in multiple attacks, leaving them just with a Lux, which while maybe in previous patches that would work, now with the Ranger buff she was going down. Time to roll again, and there is the second Aphelios we need. Without a hesitation, I Nico's Help that up and then start bringing my knights in, because there are a couple of assassin teams out there, and the last thing I need is them jumping into my backline and taking out Aphelios before Aphelios can even get started. Had I rolled, maybe I would have gotten that other Aphelios and I didn't need the Nico's Help, but I'm pretty happy with it anyway, because the silver Aphelios is going to be able to wipe things out very quickly. As you can see, Aphelios' ult allows it to hit 5 characters all at once. A chance to grab a Garen and improve my knight situation is always a good thing. As I had mentioned earlier, the main crux of this build is to have 4 Rangers and 4 Knights with a flex character. That Force of Nature has given us some extra room, but still, we're going to see what we can do with the 4 Rangers and the 4 Knights. So we take out our 2 weakest and replace them with the stronger ones, which is Garen over Leona and Galio over Poppy. I pick up a Rakan at first because maybe having that little extra bit of healing around my Rangers is good, but the opportunity to pick up a Gwen, which can be absolutely game-changing, is just a little more tempting. I'm hoping at this point, even though I have a couple of 1-star Knights out there, that they can hang on, but ultimately it's just not enough protection right now. Going into the next level, we've made it into the top 4, so again, it is a win, but it's not everything I want it to be. We put the blue buff onto Gwen so she can cast more often and then find the action at the last second. Action is ultimately going to take the place of Vayne if we can survive this fight. Aphelios does his thing and is able to again knock out multiple targets with his ult very quickly and lead the damage charts to a victory. This now allows us to move on, taking out Vayne, putting in action so that we can load him up as a second source of damage. Now, it's given me an additional action and an additional Gwen, and I have a Nico's Help on the side. So which one do you go for? Well, it's action, because this is a Ranger build, and he's going to get the Runan's Hurricane and the Fist of Fairness. Since we also have 2 Sentinels on the board, I grab a 3rd Sentinel. It didn't even matter which one, but just put it out there so I can trigger the Sentinel buff, which will go on to action at the beginning, increasing his attack speed because he has the most health of all the Sentinels. And anything I can do to make my Rangers a little bit more powerful is a good thing. You can see how quickly the Rangers are able to dispatch other teams because the speed buff is just a little bit too much for them to handle. And just like that, it's down to me and one other person. I check in to see how their board looks and where I'm placed, and I'm pretty happy with it. Getting the 2-star Gwen makes me even happier. I can use her as great protection for my Knights and my Rangers by placing her right in the middle of everyone. This will give me the best chance. I upgrade my additional Sentinel just by a 1-cost character, so I have an Irelia instead of an Olaf, but ultimately I'm relying on Aphelios and action to pour out the damage against that team. And I know a lot of people like using the Nightbringer buff to keep Aphelios up. I tend to find that the Knight buff does just as much, if not more, for keeping them up and allowing them to do the damage they do quicker. You can see how much damage they do and how quickly they dispense of that team, leading to a victory. I hope you find this build helpful and that it helps you on your climb and you have an absolutely awesome day.